Hello, welcome back. To thank you all who've watched my first videos, two videos. This is Locksmithing Innovations once again. I'm going to start this video, I had a great week. Something that I pre-ordered back in December has come in, and that's my Key Tool Plus X-Horse tablet. I have other X-Horse products which I have had no problem, and love the way they perform. So I was really looking forward to this. No, I won't be doing an unboxing video. That's not what this channel is about. Once again, Locksmithing Innovations. It's about tools, tricks, and tips to perfect your skills as a locksmith. Now, also a little bit different in this video is I would love to see people comment on the two items I'm about to show you, because they'll be featured in upcoming videos, and I'd like to see if anybody can guess what they're used for in the field. And if I haven't said thank you for the people that have subscribed, commented, and liked, thank you very much. My videos, this being the third one. This is one tool. This tool I made when I was 19 years old. I've worked in two different locksmith shops that had metal lathes, which allowed me to make some specialized tools. Okay. Now, I've made a more advanced version, a newer version, which you'll see in the video, and I'm actually working on another version for another use. So, if anybody has any guesses what this can be used for in the locksmithing industry, I'd love to see them in the comments. The next tool that will be featured, or tools that'll be featured in an up and coming video, is these here. Once again, another shop I worked in that had a metal lathe. I made one set for myself, one set for my employer, and the metal lathe. And anybody has any guesses of what this set of tools is used for, in the comments, love to see them. Thank you. Okay, now let's get on to this week's subject. This week's subject is advanced shimming techniques. I always do my research and make sure no one's covered this on YouTube. That's the main reason why I want to bring new stuff, innovation that people might not have seen. Maybe they have, and it's just not been shared on YouTube to other people in the field or other people doing this kind of work. Okay, what we're talking about is core shimming. Okay, and one of the techniques that will be described in this has come up due to the fact that about 8 months ago, one of the major manufacturers, I believe, had dull tooling during the manufacturing process, which created a very serious and difficult problem in shimming their product. I was not the only technician, but I met at least two other technicians, if not more, that had problems shimming their product. And great manufacturer, we've all worked with them, we love them to death, and that is Schlage. Okay, I believe they had dull tools, okay, during their manufacturing process, because there seemed to be very hard to shim, and this led me to develop a new technique to shim open their product. And also, one of the locksmiths that couldn't shim them also said any of these combo cylinders with a finger pin couldn't be shimmed either, and yes, they can. This one happens to have a tailpiece. I don't believe I have a Torex bit with me right now, so we might not do this one. But I do believe I have another one here, and that one didn't have a fingerprint. It's on a C keyway. These are the combi cylinders they're making. As you can see right in there, there is a finger pin. And yes, you can still shim these. Okay. Another very difficult, and is mentioned in the YouTube by other people that have done videos, is the American and Master series. And the reason being is American and Master have both spool drivers and serrated pins. This creates very difficult in shimming, but the techniques that I have developed create an easier situation for people to shim these locks. Now, and a little lesson on shim stock too. When I started in the field, there was manufacturers that both made flat and curved shim stock. Okay, and sooner or later, the manufacturers that were making the flat shim stock just stopped selling it, stopped making it, because the demand wasn't there. When we found out that a particular manufacturer was making a flat shim stock, we just weren't purchasing it anymore. And the purpose of the curve for your shim stock might be misleading to some people. Okay, the curve is there just like the curve in a tape measure. It keeps it from bending, it keeps it stiffer. Okay, when you see different manufacturers state, oh, they have such and such of a pull-out length on their tape measure, that's created because of the curvature of the tape measure blade keeps it from bending as easy. And same thing with shim stock. Now, yes, it also follows the plug. So those people that have been using security tags, nothing wrong with using security tags. Okay, but the security tags have been there with flat shim stock, and that's what I started with in the industry when I started. Now, it's totally usable, but it has more of a tendency to bend. Now, anytime you have a difficult lock to shim, yes, definitely use a vise. Okay, because if you use a vise, you're going to have that third hand helping you out. Now, we're gonna pop this puppy in there. This is one of those Schlage combi cylinders, the one with the I'll just check the keyway here, and that's not the keyway. Okay, I know one of these. There we go. So this happens to be an S123 keyway. So we're going to shim this one open, and then we'll do a master or American, the ones with the serrated pins. Let's hope this vise performs a little better. Okay. The other day I shimmed a Primus with all 6 finger pins and sidebar loaded in it. So now the technique I use is I turn back and forth as I pull out on the key. And different people have different techniques that work differently for them. Now, right now, that's a little loose yet in the vise. It's sort of slipping around a bit. Let's get that in the vise properly. There we go. As I say, this vise is the one that doesn't want to stick to the table. I think I damaged the rubber a bit on it, so this time I got a new one. That hasn't started in there. Yeah, I thought I'd have this vise working good. Okay, maybe we're going to do this one without the vise. There we go. We're into the first pin. So we're going to take her straight. There we go. First pin done. We slid a bit sideways, so we're going to just move it back on center. There we go. We got it back on center. Now, I use a turning and withdrawing technique. And yes, sometimes I use the sliding forward. Next one. In and out technique, like many people do. I have used that as well. So as we go here, now I think I've missed that pin, so back in we go. I'm sort of on that pin, I think. Feeling some resistance there. No, not on that one yet. Now the thing with this, shimming these ones with the finger pins, is you really won't get a turn when you got it shimmed all the way. What you got to do is get it shimmed all the way, knowing your shim's right to the front, and then flip it upside down and push your finger pin to get a turn. I think I got all the way up to number 1. I'm very close to number 1. There we go. I think I got number 1 now. So obviously I've got a shim there. Now what I got to do is either I've got it or I don't. As I say, there was a 25-year locksmith says, you can't shim these. I said, sure you can. I've shimmed Primus, I've shimmed Medical. Okay. So now, if I've got it shimmed, when I push this finger pin down, which I have, you will now see I've got a turn there, you see? Got a turn there. You're approximately at 9 o'clock turn from the 12 o'clock if I hold the Bible at 12 o'clock. And when you get it shimmed all the way, all you have to do is flip it upside down and push your finger pin down, and you now have a shim if you don't have a key for that cylinder. But Schlage did have a bad bunch, real bad bunch. And everybody I met, we were having problems shimming them. And because of those problems, it led me to this really interesting thing, because it's like I was just determined. There's another one with a finger pin we could do if I really need to show anybody again. But what happened is because of these burrs in the cylinder, it was almost making them impossible. And I scratched my head for a while, and it's like, come on, there's got to be a way around it. Oh, and by the way, PJ CLK has a great video on shimming locks. He also has another one on using a shim holder. Personally, I'm not a big fan of shim holders. Where you get your problem when you're shimming is if you're excessively pushing and you keep bending that shim by pushing too hard or getting it jammed. Eventually you'll weaken the shim to the point where it won't work. Now, cutting with scissors, if you get a little dimple in your shim, is great. But this is the technique that came about for those bad Schlages and works for many different brands, like the American and the ones. I take a file, I take my shim stock, and I start thinning down. Even if I get a burr on a shim, I can use this method as opposed to the scissors. But once I shim down the tip of that shim with a file, fine file, I'm actually got a shim that works much, much better. Now, you notice I'm filing it on a piece of curved stock because it's important to keep, you know. So now I've got the rigidity I need. Okay, I got the rigidity I need. I don't think this one has... There we go. I don't think this one has a clip on it. So I have the rigidity I need of the shim stock, but I have a nice fine, fine piece of shim stock. So give it a spray. And always, if you're not going to impression, there's no harm in There's no harm in spraying oil in your cylinder. In fact, it'll help you like you won't believe. Now, if you do have trouble, I've flipped these over and I've used a pick on the American and the Master with the serrated pins and the spools. And I try to always use a 6-pin blank because a 6-pin will do a 5, but a 5-pin don't do a 6 all the time. Sometimes it will. So that one's just a little bit. There we go, we found something there. And a lot of times, not only the feel, but you can hear a snap sometimes. Okay, Jeff. That's obviously not getting anywhere. I actually put a little bend on that corner of that, but it shouldn't affect it. There we go, first bend done. Now, as I say, I have used the in and out method there. I just got one there. Using the in and out method, I'm up to 3. 4, 5, 6, done. Okay. So these are just some advanced techniques. Filing that end of the shim really helped me out with those rasher slag that I think the tooling was a little dull and they were putting burrs on the plugs. And as I said, there was many of us that are having problems. So if you do have a problem shimming and if you create a burr, remember, and as I say, always pull the vise. Yes, I shim lots of locks without a vise, but if you just turn around and you file the end of your shim like that, remember, your stroke should only go one way. It's like when you're impressioning a lock, you should never pull your strokes back or you will damage and bend the thing. But if you just stroke it like that, if you have a burr on it, you'll take it off, and if you have burred it, you can still cut them with scissors. But if you're having a very difficult with tight tolerances of a lock, I've shimmed Primus. I did one the other day. We had a Primus in the shop. Primus shim just as easy, and in fact you don't even need the right key for the finger pins because the finger pins only affect the sidebar. And you're not shimming the finger pins, you don't need to, you're just shimming your top pins, and that plug should come right out because the sidebar, you don't need to turn the cylinder, you can actually just push it out. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe, please hit the like button, and please comment. And thank you for watching Locksmithing Innovations. Hope to bring you some